What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Clone Zone, where we're going to talk about episode 6 of season 2 of The Bad Batch, titled Tribe. Our boy's back, Molly.
Our boy! Gungi, Gungi, whatever you want to call him.
They've pretty canonically said it's Gungi. That's fine. In my head, I always want to say Gungi. I just like that more for some reason, but it's Gungi. I get it. Forgive us. We're probably going to go back and forth between what is correct and what's not. But I've been waiting for this.
Try and stick with Gungi. I'll try my best.
No shade from me if you say Gungi. I have been waiting for this episode since May because I've said it multiple times. I think until this episode came out, every week, just the biggest reaction I think I had at Star Wars Celebration 2022 was the reveal that Gungi lived. And I just never thought that that was even a possibility. But to see that lightsaber ignite in the trailer, in the footage at Star Wars Celebration, had my heart skipping beats.
If anyone was sitting in or around the area that we were in, like the bottom pit area, you probably heard Alex's yelp when he came on screen.
It was a full-on scream. And poor Keith from Father and Son Galaxy was sitting fairly close to us. I probably blew his eardrum out or something.
Spooked him.
Poor
yeah.
Kid. But we are going to dive in this episode, and we're not going to do it alone. We have two of our good friends here with us, Connor and Jared from Nerd Academy podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you both doing?
Thank you for having us. We're incredibly excited. We were stoked when we got the invitation, and when we did the quick math of episode titles, Connor and I had a oh my god. I think we're on for the Gungi episode. And have been preparing accordingly. I went back and watched the Gathering arc this week. I was like, coming in, locked and loaded. And on that note, Molly, you were justified because characters in those 4 episodes use pronunciations interchangeably.
Don't they?
Yeah. There's a Gungi, there's a Gungi, there's a Gungi. There's so many different ones. So it's a smorgasbord of how to say this Wookiee's name.
Yeah.
So, Alex,
I feel good about that.
Quick question before we get started. Where did you guys come up with the name Clone Zone?
That was Molly's.
Maybe I was thinking of the Bone Zone, which is...
you were. You definitely were.
That's for After Hours, Star Wars Explained. I don't know.
We were trying to think of episode or a show title for this because we had just started doing after show live streams for The Mandalorian, and then Molly threw out the Clone Zone as a 100% joke, and I was like, nope, we're not going to think of anything better than that. And
I think I was like singing the Danger Zone song in my head, and I was like, Clone Zone, like it worked.
I think you just said welcome to the Clone Zone, and I was like, that's the one.
Yep.
And now every show we make is like a competition to see who can think
Kenny
of the dumbest
Loggins
name.
style flannel and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, no, because it just reminds me, there's this baseball player named Jake Cronenworth, and one of his nicknames by fans is the Crone Zone.
Well, you can 100% assume that any of our after show names are not from sports related items, because I don't know anything.
No,
that's fair.
No sports.
But yeah, welcome to the Clone Zone. Before we get into this episode, Tribe, which I'm so glad both of you were excited that, you got the Gungi episode. Just what is your relationship with the Bad Batch itself?
Connor, you go first, bud.
Like, do you mean as a show, or just like as them as characters, or both?
Oh, as the series.
As the series itself, I wasn't too huge on season 1 when it first came out. I still have yet to rewatch it. Season 2 so far, I think, has been a marked improvement. Like, there's definitely like three of the episodes that have premiered so far, included in this one, have already been in my top 5 in terms of like overall Bad Batch episodes. So I'm really enjoying where season 2's going. It's just like the picture's a little unclear right now. So hopefully we get some clarity soon.
So. What do you think, Jared?
I love the Bad Batch as a concept early on, and I, like Connor, I was not super into the first season, and I hate saying that. I hate not liking a Star Wars just because the discourse is always in the toilet, and I don't want to be on the wrong side of it. But I always love the idea of the Imperial transition. I love the way that the new canon has handled the Dark Times. In particular, a lot of like the Jedi scattered to the wind, which you don't see a lot of, but it has been integral to this story, obviously, because so many of these clones are both mourning and processing the horrible things they did during Order 66. So the first season, I was super into a lot of the Imperial transition stuff, a lot of the tension with Crosshair, and I found myself gravitating towards the episodes where Crosshair was kind of the main antagonist. Now, flash forward to this season, like Connor said, I'm already enjoying the stuff about the Bad Batch themselves infinitely more than I did the first time. The first go around, that is. And I like just today noticed like we've barely seen Crosshair, and I'm having way more fun than I did the first go around. So yeah, no, I'm super warming up to it and very interested to where this story's headed.
That's interesting. Like, I feel a little bit of the opposite, where I think going into season 1, I was still unsure of just the concept of the show. I was just kind of like, really? Those guys? Like Space A-Team? We're going to do a show about them? And then it kind of surprised me in ways I didn't expect. And now I feel like season 2, I don't think it's coming together quite as much as season 1 did so far for me. Because I'm the same as you. I really loved the Imperial transition stuff and Crosshair, and the Crosshair episode this season I loved.
Yes.
So I'm just like, I feel like I'm missing Crosshair more than both of you are.
Yeah, and I didn't expect that. I super expected to be like, okay, when are we going to get to like the tension with Crosshair already? And I'm enjoying more of the Space A-Team stuff this season. And maybe there's like a, my expectation for the show, admittedly going into the first season, had a lot to do with like, coming off of how dark the tone of season 7 of the Clone Wars was that tonally we were going to have a continuation of that, and that maybe we were going to see the Bad Batch as like an early Imperial Black Ops type arrangement. And as the show went on, it very much was Space A-Team. And I think I was so jarred by that, but by the time we get to season 2, I'm so fully prepared for Space A-Team. I'm enjoying it infinitely more. And just from the jump, Echo getting the immediate, hey, we need to actually take the fight to the Empire, like that tension happening immediately. And Echo feeling as though he has a little bit more to do this season has done me a lot of favors. I can't say I don't think I am ever going to not want to hit Tech with a shovel.
Whoa. Oh, shots fired for Molly. Okay, I didn't want to bring this up, but now I have to. Jared, you've already done it, because our friends... Star Wars in a Galaxy very generously before the show even started sent in a super chat. Thank you. Thank you, Star Wars in a Galaxy. Sending love and support to some of my best friends at TNAP. Look at you on Star Wars Explained. Just please don't turn heel on the stream, Jared. And he's already done it.
Listen, every time Tech opens his mouth, I am like bracing myself for him to say Bazinga at this point. I hit my wall during the premiere, and he won me back over a little bit during the riot racing, but I'm still just waiting for actually Hunter Bazinga. That's what I'm waiting for, just at every turn this point. Now that's enough Tech slander from me.
I think he's getting a little bit better. Like, he's not as Bazinga-y. I don't know what.
The riot racing thing just made me just over the top for him. I freaking love Tech now.
I love
he
Tech.
Legit pulled a Dave Waddle in that race. I assume none of you will get that. It's going to take too long to explain. But
no,
like,
absolutely not.
That
not even me.
that episode itself, but also like that moment of like Tech being like, I'll race. And then you're like, I knew he was going to win but I was still like, what's the journey of that win going to look like? And I was so enamored with it.
That's, I think, a great illustration of just Star Wars in general. I mean,
Yeah.
People always talk about like, well, we know where this story is going to go. Why do we need a prequel for Cassian Andor? Or like, why did we need a prequel for the original Star Wars? Because we know what happens to Darth Vader or whatever. But that no matter what in Star Wars, the good guys win. Like,
yeah,
in general, Empire might strike back, but we still end on a hopeful note. And it's all about, the journey.
And Star Wars never tells its stories in order. Like Jared was on a podcast, I think, with Alden at one point where they talked about it. And that was the one thing they mentioned, was just that like Star Wars storytelling is never forward momentum. It's always back and forth in terms of chronology. So,
yeah.
Who is everyone's favorite member of the batch?
Ooh.
Since Jared, we know who Jared's least favorite is.
Well, I'll go ahead and say that I think Tech is my most favorite.
Yeah.
I think Tech and Wrecker are like pretty close for me.
If you asked me this question at the end of season 1, I would have said Hunter. But now I'm not really sure. I'm probably gonna have to go with like Hunter and Tech, with Tech maybe edging him out a bit.
You're fired. You're fired.
Jared, I've been fired like
don't even
times.
bother showing up to our recording tomorrow. Just don't even bother. I want your badge and your gun. Okay. I'm somewhere between Wrecker and Echo. I love the fish out of water story that's happening with Echo. I'm an Anakin / Vader fanboy, so by default, the former member of the 501st is going to be up there for me. And Wrecker, just because I'm partial to a big dumb, strong teddy bear. That's my
Wrecker's my favorite too. I'm a sucker for a himbo.
Yes. But yeah, no, I think those are probably my two favorites. I will say, I think Tech has the coolest suit of armor, not the helmet, but his armor. To say a nice thing, his armor is probably the coolest.
Well, Echo did have a great moment in this episode that you probably really enjoyed, where he was like talking about working with the Wookiees and how they were their allies and like, we got to go help them. I thought that was so sweet.
Yeah.
And like
absolutely.
The rest of the Bad Batch probably wouldn't have thought of that, but because he was in it and he worked with them more, it made sense for Echo to be the one to say that.
Great segue, Molly. Let's start talking about tribe. And we got Gungi, we got Wookiees, we got Kashyyyk, which I was kind of realizing today we've never seen in the animation world. I don't believe we were going to in the Clone Wars, but this is our first time on Kashyyyk in full-on animation. And obviously, if you know about those old Clone Wars unfinished arcs, they pulled a lot from what was planned, and I thought that was really,
and
really
it sounds
cool.
like they've like recanonized it. Well, it's basically recanonized because Matt Micknovitz wrote that arc and he wrote this episode. And there's that line where Wrecker says, "Been a while since we've been to Kashyyyk."
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that they kind of did and kind of didn't, because I assume Venomore, the Trandoshan, I assume he probably met a similar fate originally in that arc. So the fact that he was still around in this one, I think they adapted it, but also I did like that line of, hey, it's been a while since we were on Kashyyyk, so they have been there before.
I love when Star Wars truly does throw a bone to like 3 people in the room.
Yeah.
It's the greatest.
A crowd pop of 3 people going, hey, I understood what they were getting at there. Fantastic stuff.
It's stuff like the Veers Watch Twitter, that anytime General Veers pops up, and sometimes people specifically do it for him, or to do a very relevant and recent example, read today's issue of Sana Staros, and there is a very cool nod to our friends over at Pink Milk Podcast.
Oh yeah,
that issue is out today, and it was very exciting.
Wow.
Basically, there's a new canon color of milk. So now Star Wars has 3.
Oh my god.
That's amazing.
I'm so happy right now.
Oh, that's incredible.
Oh, they need to introduce the Galaxy's Edge pronto and have it be like a watermelon or cherry flavor.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yes.
Yes.
Mix well with the adult version too. But yeah, no, this is really cool. And you're right. Like, it blew my mind that this is the first time we're seeing Kashyyyk in animation. It comes up all the time.
You just feel like it's always been there.
Exactly. And we've seen it in, every blessed video game, that like it kind of doesn't hit your mind that like we've not actually seen this in a TV show proper. Yeah. Which again, like that was one of the things that I was like, oh yeah, like season 1 of the Bad Batch, like the Bad Batch, they're gonna get Order 66. They'll be on Kashyyyk, like in that unfinished arc, and then they'll have to hunt down Luminara. Like that was one of my big predictions going into it. It's like, like they're the ones who kill Luminara and Dully. Wrong. Like, but I'm glad we got what we got here. It was a lot of fun. Kashyyyk has a spider problem. That I'm not here to praise the Empire. I'm not gonna do that. But you don't see any of the other spiders by the time of Fallen Order. So like, pick a
the kin rats,
pick a horrific arachnid and go with it.
Molly and I were watching the episode just a couple hours ago again, and I was like, it's wild to me that you see the webbing and you're like, oh no, it's the Kashyyyk spiders, and then you're like, oh wait, but which ones? They have multiple giant spiders that you have to. I didn't even
think of that from the game. I couldn't get Shelob out of my head.
That's fair. That is a fair comparison. Because when I saw the spider webs, my first instinct was we're getting the Y shocks or reshocks, however you pronounce it. I'm like, nope, we got new spiders, which is like, oh great, what if this is a nod to Survivor?
Speaking of, Connor, I would like to throw this to you because I know you love Fallen Order as much as I do. How did you feel about the fact that we see Gungi using the Force to peacefully move through the Kinraths? Meanwhile, Cal Kestis is like, nah, not doing that. Cut them to pieces.
Some Jedi are different, man. They resolve these situations differently. Gungi knows what's up. Cal, he's a survivor. So
I like this comment. The spiders, clearly, they were just trying to live their lives.
Oh, of course.
That is true. Because there is that one moment near the end of the episode where Gungi, instead of cutting down that one Trandoshan, like the main Trandoshan per se, he just lets the spiders dictate that guy's fate.
So good.
Very Batman Begins. I don't have to. I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you either.
And like the amount of screams that we heard from him as he was like being beat up and wrapped up and like pulled into the the trees, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that was pretty cold.
Yeah.
Which makes me laugh so much. I'm sorry, Molly. It makes me laugh so much that like throughout this whole episode, Gungi never strikes anyone, even the droids, with his lightsaber. And I'm like, they're really trying to like not have any lightsaber violence in this episode. Meanwhile, you just hear this, again, not like he didn't have it coming. This wretched Trandoshan guy, shouts out Dan Miller from Broaxi. I'm sure he'd love this episode. Just all the way up in the tree, just being devoured. And I'm like, well, Gungi could have just ended that like real quick, man.
Yeah.
They've
actually been more merciful.
It would have been more merciful to just cut this guy's head off. But
I mean, it definitely would have been more merciful.
Spider food, homie.
It really, really sort of touches on the theme of like colonial colonization and sort of, attacking someone's natural resources, and don't be surprised if they fight back with whatever they got.
Exactly.
And like emerge victorious. So,
oh yeah, that was like just the Trandoshans coming in, invading, burning everything, not giving any care to learning about the planet that they're invading, just wanting to hurt the Wookiees because that's all they've done for generations. Yeah. And the fact that nature got its vengeance was perfect.
Yep. I do remember like when Gungi first jumps down out of that tree to attack him, he comes down like lightsaber first onto the ground. So he was coming out swinging from the start. And then we got that cool moment where he decides to just cut his weapon in half. But I think he was like toying with him a little bit at that point.
Gungi has that dog in him, okay? Like Gungi came to fight. And I love that. Like, I also love, like, again, coming off of watching the Gathering arc, you see him be incredibly timid. You see, like they're all kids, and this is like roughly maybe like a year and some change later. So it's not like he's had a lot of time to mature, but you can see like clear growth, both as a person, as a Jedi, unfortunately as a warrior, that is obviously colored by both his time within the war and his time post the Purge, during the Purge even. So like seeing him kind of like stand tall was like really cool. And as much as people like to make fun of everybody's glups and everything, that as fun as that joke is, like this is like legitimate character development, and it shows like the lived and shared trauma of so many of these Jedi survivors, wink, who are living with like a fractured moral code, who kind of have to do the best with what they can at this point, with what they have left of their order, with what they have left of their ideology. And what we see here with Gungi is the perfect example of that. Like, he doesn't lose himself in that haze, but we also see someone who is more willing to fight than he was the last time we saw him.
And be accepted into a new community.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I do want to talk about that, but I first want to jump to something Jared said about the glup of it all. I really liked the way they introduced Gungi, and obviously Omega doesn't know who he is, and the Batch didn't seem to know who he was. So when you first see him, it's just a kid who needs help. And, if you watch the Clone Wars, you're already excited. But if you didn't, and you're just watching the Bad Batch, they just show this Wookiee that needs help, and he's an ally. And like, what's he searching for? And then to see the lightsaber come out, I love that they treated the Batch kind of like the audience who wouldn't have known who Gungi was. And I thought that was perfect. And it looks like I just brought up what Jared drew.
Our first drawing of the night.
I drew because, as I said before, Connor and I are Jedi guys by trade, and I love every time a Force sensitive gets to have their like Excalibur lightsaber moment. And even though Gungi is not a Luke or a Rey necessarily in terms of the importance to the Star Wars narrative, it still makes me happy to see any Star Wars character have that triumphant, like, I am Jedi moment. Mm-hmm. And I did not because again, in the trailer, we all we see is Gungi just kind of like hunker down and kick on the lightsaber and get ready to throw down. We don't see that, like, in that moment, like he and Omega are helping each other, and they're running around all this stuff, and he sees like the main droid over there, and he's like, oh, he's got my thing, and like it's just such a triumphant moment. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the first time we see him use the Force in the episode, if I'm not mistaken. So like, it feels so heroic and so mythological. And I love seeing even Gungi get some form of like lightsaber Excalibur. It's Rey in The Force Awakens. It's Ben in The Rise of Skywalker. It's Luke in Empire. Like, just that triumphant, gotcha. Time to kick some butt. It's always going to be a highlight for me. It is always going to get a reaction out of me.
It really gave me Return of the Jedi vibes, just because of the green lightsaber, and Luke has that cool moment where he gets it and ignites it. So like, I think that was a great moment for a lot of people that like brought up a lot of like excitement and feelings that don't normally happen in a show like this.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Every time he ignited the lightsaber this episode, I was just like, hell yes. But beyond that, it kind of like realizing, wait, Kashyyyk's never been in a Star Wars cartoon. I realized that, we haven't seen a lightsaber in the Bad Batch since the series premiere. And like, it did feel like this like moment.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to make a silly joke. I was going to say, despite what you'd think, this is the first time we saw a green lightsaber, even though Depa Billaba was in the first episode. It's going to poke out there.
Stop.
I'm waiting to see if I can make Alden materialize in the comments.
Well, there's another super chat I want to bring up because it's relevant, and also I think this person would like to hear from all of us. But Sean Room, thanks so much for the super chat. Hey, I know those guys. Question: I've always loved the wood in Gungi's saber. If building your own, what unique material would you make your saber out of?
Ooh.
God, this is about to get so nerdy. I have always loved the concept of twin lightsabers. I think it offers the most options in combat. You can dual wield, you can go single blade, you can go saber staff, or even, connect the two and only use one blade and basically turn it into a makeshift light pike. Super cool stuff. Like the light pike, all the cool ones are made out of frake alloy that are mostly lightsaber resistant. So I'd probably try to put some frake in there so you can't get Darth Mauled and get your stuff cut in half, which is slightly cheating, but that's probably my answer.
I have no idea.
I think I would
probably the origin tree.
Take a page out of Lando's book and put a little Mother Pearl in there just for some pizzazz.
Give them the
Everyone
old
had,
razzle dazzle.
Serious answers. I was like, I'd probably try to build something out of Legos.
Oh,
indestructible Legos. Too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have to coat it in something, but
yeah.
And inside the crystal chamber is a single strand of Biggs Darklighter's mustache hair wrapped around the kyber crystal.
That's getting into like Harry Potter, like wand ingredients.
Yep.
Ooh, Beskar would be good. Good if you could get a hold of some. You could do Beskar.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that's the Mandalorians would take issue with that. You're not supposed to make weapons out of Beskar.
Well, I wouldn't be telling
Yeah,
them.
that's their problem.
I would spray paint it.
Armor that has guns and flamethrowers on it.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'd spray paint it purple, and they would never know.
Yeah, they made the whistling bird. I want to talk to the armor about her rules. Spears, a no. Whistling birds, they're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Gungi stuff, every time he put that lightsaber on, I loved it when he just went running out to attack all of the Trandoshans who were setting fire to the forest and whatever those monuments were that were obviously important to the Wookiees.
Just
but
vicious stuff.
It felt very Poplu, except with a lightsaber of just like, oh, he's just gonna go. Like you can't stop him.
Oh my god, I got so excited. I was watching, like, tune him up, Gungi, and whoop their ass. And again, like I was waiting to like watch Trandoshan heads roll, like, but Gungi's a nobler man than I.
Yeah, we thought
Gungi
was going to pull a Black Chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it definitely seems like he has survived this long because he's a badass. But where are the other younglings? What do we think?
Are you trying to make everyone sad, Molly?
I need Katuni back now. Like, I remember when Fallen Order came out, Alex, you and Molly, you both might have had the same thought, but like, I genuinely thought we were either going to get a reference to them at Ilum or like maybe they show up.
Or maybe like they carved their name into something somewhere and it would have been like a little Easter egg.
Yep.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yes, there were a lot of names in the path in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I don't recall if any of them were the younglings, but my biggest hope for Katuni is the fact that Hondo does eventually name his ship the Katuni. And he had one good experience with Katuni. That might have been enough.
Yeah.
But I hope maybe Hondo saved them all. I don't know. Maybe they put out a distress call and for some reason Gungi got separated. Yeah.
Well, Alex, you mentioned there was a moment where Gungi, right before he gets on the ship with the Bad Batch, he looks back and he's not sure, but he gets on. And you mentioned, what if the rest of the younglings were in there? But then I was like,
maybe they had already been kidnapped.
He would have mentioned that at some point during the episode, like, yeah, I want to go back to Kashyyyk, but all my friends are in there. So that to me tells me that they're either all gone or they're somewhere where Gungi has no idea where they are and they just all got separated.
They're not dead.
They're not dead. Before this episode, before the trailer for Star Wars Celebration, I had just accepted they're all gone. we're never going to see them again. And now that Gungi is back, I'm like, bring them all back. Where's Biff? Where's Zatz? I need everyone to, even Petro.
Even Petro. I am inclined to agree with what Molly said. However, I cannot lie and say that the idea of Hondo Ohnaka running around with an army of child Jedi is not the best thing ever and needs to be greenlit right now.
Oh yeah, he's got a circus with them because that was a thing, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
there it is.
They're all disguised as the circus. I mean, I would be sad if Gungi weren't with them, but that's fun headcanon for now, is that they're all with Hondo. They're a traveling circus. Because, like, Hondo loses his whole crew between the Clone Wars and Rebels, which I think he chalks up to the Empire, which is fine. But he has definitely softened up by the time of Star Wars Rebels, which could have just been age, but maybe he spent 15 years with a bunch of Jedi kids who needed him.
Yeah.
This is writing itself. Like, all I can hear is Yondu in Guardians 2 with the whole, like, I got you because you're small and fit in places I couldn't get into. And,
Yeah.
and you know, this is writing itself. This is writing itself.
Amazing.
Yeah. We need to
there you go, Lucasfilm. That's free.
Pitching. Yeah. Here you go.
That one's for free.
There was something. I wanted to talk about Gungi coming into the tribe, being accepted as a new member of the family. First of all, the second he sees that other Wookiee and he frees him, and the Wookiee just roars at him and kind of smiles, I immediately thought to Hu Yang, where he says, like, oh, a Wookiee Jedi, like, you're rare. I bet your tribe is very proud. Like, that's what I thought. Is the second that Wookiee saw Gungi, he was like, nice. Like,
nice.
Good on you. Yeah, that's exactly what he thought. No relief for his life being saved, just
nice.
Toy.
Yeah, the sense of community thematically permeating throughout the episode I thought was really cool with both the Bad Batch and the Wookiees, because it's like, what the thing I really liked, that I really, really liked about this episode was that it really built on like the Kashyyyk spiritual lore that we got to read and hear about in Fallen Order, specifically in the return trip to Kashyyyk when you like pass the Imperial refinery. Because like in that whole thing where Cal's going up the origin tree and everything, you find out about how important the origin tree is to the Wookiees, what it means to them, what what they do to sort of be one with. And like this really builds upon that, with there being more trees like that, and like how Tex says, like, they believe this planet belongs to the trees. Mm-hmm. So I just really like that, and it's really not surprising coming from the same guy who co-wrote Fallen Order, also wrote this episode. So it's really not surprising seeing that sort of thematic extension in that way there. Because like Kashyyyk's my favorite planet because of Fallen Order. So being able to like see more of it and get more deep dives into Wookiee culture and just the planet as a whole, as a spiritual center, is always a welcome sign for me.
Yes. I loved the trees, the idea that the trees have a plan. And
yes. It's like one with it's like the force is a will sort of thing for the Wookiees.
Well, Molly just triggered my drawing that I made, because I love, before we dive into something goofy, I really, really genuinely loved that moment of all the Wookiees going to the tree and Gungi seeing them just kind of like kneel down and put their hands on it, and him having that instinct. He's never been on Kashyyyk before, at least not since he was taken to the Jedi Order. He doesn't remember it, but the Wookiees still accepted him. They did the head bump thing, and he just sees them do it, and he does it too. And then he is the one that is like, the trees have a plan. So I love that moment. But then we cut to the Trandoshans and their tanks and stuff, and immediately from the forest you see a grenade is thrown. And when we saw the episode, I was like, the trees have bombs! Run! So I drew
Fortunate Son playing in the background.
Oh boy.
I drew an angry tree.
The trees also have DL-44s, it looks like.
Yeah. The trees have bombs and blasters, and they've got a plan.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
But I did have that thought of the Ents coming in Lord of the Rings.
The Ents are going to war.
Or not even the Ents, but when the trees in the extended edition go off to Helm's Deep and then tear apart the Uruk-hai at the end. That's just, it's nature fighting back. And I love the way that Wookiees commune with nature, and that's their version of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things, like, shouts out the High Republic that have that fun, like, this is how such and such experiences the Force, this and that and this and that. And, like, the Wookiees, where it's like, oh, it's the Force. Like, you guys are all, like, in some small way communing with the Force. I love Star Wars, man. It's great. This is phenomenal.
And speaking of, like, how people see the Force, we get a sense of that in the Battle Scars excerpt that released yesterday from Sam.
Yeah, very High Republic.
Let me tell you, I was hyped for that for many reasons.
Yeah, good stuff. My drawing was also kind of about the trees. It's skipping to the end of the episode, but I'll go ahead and show it until
it's definitely relevant.
But hold on, I don't want to mess it up. There they are. Like the moment that Omega bends down and like does that, like, I don't think she's communing with the Force, but you know, she's meditating or something. She's having a good time, and I love these little lessons that she's getting to learn from all these other species and worlds and cultures. Like, she's got a good friend with Gungi.
I thought that was just the cutest. Like, I don't think that Omega is Force sensitive or anything. I don't think she was getting anything from the tree the way that Gungi would, but I love that she was just like joining her friend and learning about his culture and stuff.
Oh, it's super sweet. And I absolutely love that element. Because again, it shows how empathetic Omega is. And like, going back to like the trees have a plan stuff, you know, one of the things that was a drag for me in the first season was it felt like every episode was, guys, we gotta go do the thing, and Hunter going, we can't, no. Okay, fine, we'll go. Omega, stay on the ship. Omega leaves. Omega, no. Like it felt a little repetitive, like Hunter arguing with everybody about what we're actually going to do. So the fact that we've come full circle, and was it Hunter or Echo who just go, the trees have a plan. All right, let's rock and roll. Like, who just don't even question that at all. They're just like, it's on and popping. The trees have a plan.
To build off of that, I love that Hunter at no point in this episode hems or haws about what they should do. First, they're like,
thank you,
that
Don.
Kid's in trouble. Let's save that kid. Like, no matter what, it's Omega, it's Hera, now it's Gungi. If a kid's in trouble, they're going to help. And then later on, when Echo is usually the one that has to convince Hunter, like, oh, we should do this or that, when he says we should stay and fight, he's just like, yep, we're soldiers. I know how to do that. No question about it. Let's fight. So it was nice to see him just doing something without any other.
I'll go ahead and bring this up from Ice. Hi, Jared and Connor. Long time. Hope you're well. Hello, Ice.
Hello.
What's up?
Sup.
Noise.
Sorry.
Neat.
The Connor lexicon coming out strong on Star Wars Explained.
What did we think of the Trandoshan enemies? We haven't really talked about them a whole lot.
I liked
how they died.
What I thought was interesting, and it's not really surprising because we see a lot of it in like the early 2015, 2016 comics, where it's like the Empire's really working with a bunch of shady organizations because they still haven't really gained enough of a foothold where they can really, really just take care of everything by themselves. So at first I was like, oh, interesting that the Empire is working with Trandoshans. But then I realized, oh, this is a few months. It's still like 18, 19 BBY. So I was really intrigued to see the Empire just be like, yo, we know you guys don't like Wookiees. We know you guys and Wookiees, pretty mortal enemies. So we're going to use that. We'll pay you, do this, clean up some stuff, go to Kashyyyk, destroy it, do whatever. So I thought it was really cool to see that here in this episode.
Yeah, pretty tragic.
Well, it also shows like what you were getting at, Connor. Like, yeah, like it's weird seeing the Empire work with an alien species, and it's because in the way that real world fascism works, it's all about very strange bedfellows, whom the empowered government has every intention of cutting out the moment they've served their purpose. Mm-hmm. It's very much that, poem, first they came for the socialists and I did nothing, all that kind of stuff. And it's what you're seeing here now. It's what you're going to see across the Empire over the course of the Dark Times is the amount of people who, to save their own skin or in the name of profit, whichever one is more sinister is up to you, are going to throw their common man under the bus. And not realizing that they are the next person in line to get thrown.
Yeah.
And this is fully emblematic of it, like it's like I can't remember her name, but like the Aqualish in the Battlefront 2 campaign, who's like super down with the cause, gets popped almost the moment she's not useful anymore.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't think of their name.
Her name escapes me, which means Eli is writing that question right now.
Or me.
Yeah.
Well, the Empire is all about like streamlining and efficiency. So like they probably were like, oh, the Trandoshans hate the Wookiees. Let's just go send them to do this and do our dirty work. And like, we don't even have to train them. They know what they're doing.
And they give them scraps. I mean, Hunter called them Imperial tanks, but I'm like, those are AATs. Those are separatist tanks that you're like, we don't need these. Here, you take this garbage. We're not going to miss this. Here's 2 clone troopers to oversee you.
Who are already incredibly disposable to the Empire at this point.
Yeah, like that's, like you said, Jared, it's just fascism of, oh, you hate those people? We hate those people. Why don't you take care of those people? Like...
Exactly, and
then we'll take care of you afterwards.
And it is how sinister like those different levels of hatred are, because the Empire doesn't really have like a deep-seated bigotry towards the Wookiees like the Trandoshans do. They recognize Kashyyyk as rich with resources and an incredibly long-lived and incredibly strong slave workforce. So we just want to enslave Kashyyyk and strip it of its resources. You want to hurt Wookiees. So we're going to turn you loose on Kashyyyk and just reap all the benefits from it and then cut you out when we're done. Like it is the sincere, I believe what I'm saying, evil of Trandoshans and their like space racial violence and the, sinister, anything in the name of the bottom line evil that we see from the Empire all the time. Yeah, I also am very excited for Omega to show up back at Sid's hideout and be like, I need to hear your thoughts on Wookiees right now.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
True.
That is good. I hadn't even thought about Sid in this
I would
entire
not
episode,
be shocked if that's like a deal breaker.
We also don't there's still so much that we don't know about Sid. We don't know how she or what she knew about the Jedi, how she was connected to them. Maybe
that's
she
true.
knows.
Yeah, she was an
maybe she knows
informant or something.
Gungi. Yeah, like there's a lot of mystery still with her, and I don't quite fully trust her.
I think
I don't either. I don't either.
But yeah, I thought it
We'll
was
see
such
what
a
happens.
smart use of Trandoshans and very like nerdy, deep Star Wars lore of like, oh yeah, the Trandoshans hate the Wookiees, and like, okay, well let's dig into what that looks like under the changing Empire, which, like we talked about that at the start, that the episodes that I tend to love the most have to do with the transitions and the politics of how the Republic turned into the Empire. And I didn't really think about how, this is part of that. I mean, like, I made the connection.
Does she have a Wookiee pelt in her office?
I don't remember.
if she does, and Omega sees that when they get back, she's gonna get a stern talking to.
Can somebody play "Problematic" by Bo Burnham, please? Anybody?
Oh yeah, that looks like a Wookiee pelt.
No.
Oh boy.
Did you just have a picture of her office pulled up?
No. I just Googled it real fast. Well, first I put Sid's office and it brought up some like actual office. And then I had to do Sid's
Sid
office,
down the
Star
street.
Wars. And I don't know why I just go to Google and I assume whatever I'm typing.
Yeah,
in,
Sid from
they
Toy
should know
Story.
it's Star Wars by default.
Yeah,
But yeah, that looks like a Wookiee pelt to me.
Yikes.
oof. Oh
Big
no.
oof. She probably, well, maybe she
I didn't want to be
inherited
right.
If you inherited someone's skin, would you keep it?
No,
No, that's not what I'm saying. But like, I wonder how how attached to it she is. Like maybe she has it up there so that if a Trandoshan ever comes into her office and wants it, she can barter with them. I don't know.
I mean,
It's
listen,
dirty.
it could get really real world and be like, Omega, you have to understand, it's my heritage. And it's like, oh, man.
Nah, like that. I didn't even remember that. That's got to go.
I don't even think I knew that. And just, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
That's so funny. PT White in the chat said it could be a bantha pelt, but it really looks like a Wookiee pelt.
I mean,
Let's
it's big
hope
and
that
brown
it's
and furry.
something
Okay.
else.
Pardon me. Oh,
Let me
that's
see
funny.
if I can pull it up. I think it's a WebP file, so probably not.
Maybe it's what are those? Oh shoot, what are those big guys on Endor?
The Gorax, no.
The Gorax, yeah.
I think it's
Not the little
a Wookiee
guys.
pelt.
We love the little guys, the big guys.
That is so funny. That is so
Hold on,
funny.
That's it. I mean,
Oh,
Wow.
That's
okay, I
huge,
was
though.
thinking.
Big for a Wookiee.
No.
I am
I-
inclined to say
I
bantha.
don't know.
Yeah, I think that looks bantha because, like, when they said pelt, I thought it was gonna be like just something hanging
Like
on the
Ozzy
wall.
Stern in The Force Unleashed, where he has one that like goes across his uniform.
it
Yeah,
certainly
that's
doesn't
something
look
like
as bad. There's some of the trophy rooms in the Clone Wars. That one Trandoshan trophy room, like that has full on like Wookiee
yeah.
pelts.
And
Yeah,
they're,
like I thought it was
on
gonna be
mannequins.
Still.
Wookiee pelts in the same way, like the same size as like I can never remember the clone trooper's name, who has like a battle droid necklace in the hidden enemy, like that. Like
His
I was
name is
expecting. Like,
Chopper. His name is Chopper.
that's
And I
incredible.
know that because I just started showing my girlfriend the Clone Wars like a week
That's
ago.
right.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, and she's already having like a mild nervous breakdown about the ethics of the clone army, right? Where she just has a moment and goes, wait a minute, aren't they all like 3? And I went, yeah. And I'm just like enjoying watching the gears turn. And then I'm like, wait, doesn't he like go back to the battlefield and just like start mutilating dead battle droids? And I start chuckling to myself on the couch. And she's like, oh, what are you laughing about? And I was like, just watch. And showing someone who hasn't been desensitized to how insane the Clone Wars is, watch the Clone Wars. It might be one of my new favorite experiences as a fan. Like, because that show will oscillate between being so incredibly dark and incredibly violent to some of the silliest things I've ever seen in my life.
Well, if you think about that, it's like Omega is basically the same age as the Bad Batch. They've all been around for around the same amount of time, and like they're more like brothers to her than Space Dads. But I think Space Dads has like a better ring to it.
I still consider Hunter
Agreed.
a father figure. The other ones I'll take as brothers, but I think Hunter is meant to be a.
They're more like uncles to Omega than like dads.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. But yeah. Hopefully that's a bantha pelt. I'm gonna pretend it's a bantha pelt. Otherwise, that's at least 2 Wookiees, and this is getting infinitely worse the longer we look at it.
It is. I'm looking everywhere I can right now to see if there's confirmation on StarWars.com or Wikipedia. Wikipedia just calls it a fur pelt. I don't see anything on the StarWars.com episode guides or trivia guides that says it's definitely a Wookiee or definitely a bantha. It could be either one still.
let's say that it's a bantha, but if, like I said, if any Trandoshans come in there, Sid's telling them that that's a Wookiee pelt just to like get on the same page with them.
Still not cool, Sid.
No.
Yep.
Still not cool
Still
to
not
pretend to
cool.
be a poacher murderer.
Yeah.
But you know what was cool? We get another Wookiee chieftain. So.
Oh yeah, I would like Yana. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think I would consider her like a spiritual leader as well.
Mm-hmm.
I really
that's
like
probably the better
that.
word for it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it could be chiefed on too. She could be double purpose, but I got a very spiritual sense from her. But yeah, I like Yana a lot.
I don't know if this was the same for you, Alex, but for me, Gungi probably going to Kashyyyk. I'm thinking we're gonna see Tarful at some point. Like that's what I genuinely thought. Like going into the episode, like okay, Tarful might. I wasn't like he's gonna show up. It's like he might show up because it's like Gungi, Tarful, and Chewie and Sagwa are like the 4 known Wookiees at this time that I can think of.
Is Tarful still around?
Yeah, because Bad Batch is before Fallen Order, and in Fallen Order, Cal meets Tarful.
That's right.
Tarful is like a leader of the Wookiee resistance by the time of Fallen Order. So,
my favorite sentence. Oops, sorry, Molly, I didn't mean to speak over you.
No, go ahead.
I was to say my favorite sentence I think I've heard as a Star Wars fan leading up to Bad Batch season 2 was in relation to Gungi, was hearing Connor with a straight face say, "Man, I really hope we get to see Tarful." And
listen, I love Tarful. I know he's not much of a character, but just
if Tarful has if Tarful has 100 fans, Connor is one of them. If Tarful has 1 fan, Tarful is it, and if Tarful has no fans, Connor is one with the Force.
Yep, it's pretty accurate.
Is he your glove?
There's I have 6 of them. We all have multiple gloves.
If I had to pick
one,
yeah.
Oh god,
your one and only glove.
My one and only. I can't. Okay, it's going to be hard to either choose between Tarful or Peppy Bow. I can't. I don't know. I don't. You can't make me choose. I'm not going to choose.
Is Peppy the Gungan?
Yeah. The Blue Shadow Virus.
I've never ever heard that choice before. Well done.
Dude, she is the MVP of the Blue Shadow Virus episode.
Yeah.
She is phenomenal.
I love the choice. Because it's one I've never ever heard before.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the day that we see more Gungans. It has to come around at some point, right? They can't all be gone.
True.
Yeah,
oh my god, that never occurred to me that they might be.
Same.
Oh no!
I don't think so. I think they're fine.
I don't
fine.
accept that scenario. So
I
think the Mandalorian will do it. The Mandalorian has done such a good job of bringing in all eras of Star Wars. I think that if it's going to happen,
it's going to be
Mando's going to bring in a badass Gungan.
I think Filoni would be on board with that. I don't know if he could convince Favreau to put a Gungan in there.
Favreau just put a whole bar full of droids, and there's a table of B1 battle droids. He did the N1 Starfighter. He Bill Burr in that one episode.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. You're so afraid to show use of face?
Yeah.
I was going to say, and if Mayfeld is making that joke, then logically he must have grown up knowing what a Gungan is.
Mm-hmm.
So
knowing what they sound like and all that. So.
Yeah. Which is good. I also feel like genociding the Gungans the way they did the Geonosians would be a lot harder to pull off. But just because
we know Jar Jar is still alive by the time of the Aftermath book.
They did it with the Kaminoans.
So
they're all gone.
At least Jar Jar still lives
mostly
after the Battle of Endor.
Yeah.
Oh God, what if Jar Jar's the last Gungan?
Oh.
Of course, he'd be the one to make it out.
If he is, we get a Last Samurai kind of Last Gungan crossover standalone movie with just him.
I would love that. That would be phenomenal.
It'd be
directed by James Mangold.
I was gonna say it could be like the Ninja Turtle Last Ronin comics, where all the TMNT go down and Michelangelo is the only one left. It becomes this vengeful, almost Ninja Turtle Batman to be very oversimplified with it. But for Jar Jar.
And two people brought up the Gungan from Last Shot, which is one of my favorite book moments. So that's 2 years after Endor. But the Gungan that like Han goes up and talks to him like, Wisa wants to see you, and the guy's like, let me stop you right there. Like, we don't all talk like that. I ran into Daniel Jose Older at the 2019 celebration, and I got to shake his hand and say that moment was incredible. And he was like, I can't believe Lucasfilm let me do that. And I was like, it's the best. It is
sincerely really funny. And I can't believe it's one of those like, I can't believe that's in there. It's so good. Also, Eli brought up Wet Bub in the High Republic.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about him.
A lot of people love Wet Bub. Man, how did we get here? I mean, like, I'm happy about it, but we're just Peppy. That's right.
Yes. Peppy and Glups. That'll happen to you.
I was gonna bring this. This was from earlier, but I just spotted it in our spreadsheet over here. Hi, Scotty.
Scotty.
Love my TNAP fam. Rematch in April. # stay bombad.
Oh yeah. It's been locked in. When we were all in Baton Rouge, Scotty and I are getting back in the ring.
Hell yeah.
Mano y mano.
Why don't you tell everyone watching what you're getting back in the ring for?
Oh, yes.
In case they don't know.
Yeah, so Eli from Star Wars in a Galaxy has, in the wake of the movie Trivia Schmodown closing up shop, has basically founded a fledgling Star Wars trivia league. The prototype match that happened at the end of December of 2021 was one of my other co-hosts, Spencer, and I going head-to-head with one Scotty J-Ro and Jerry the Cannon Junkie that ended in a loss on our part that is incredibly circumstantial and still under review. Don't even laugh, Connor. Shut up. But yeah, ever since then, I've been dogging Scotty to step back in the ring with me. No questions about El Frono will be asked, and it'll be a good time this April. We're going head to head again. Epic Confrontations is also a ton of fun. A bunch of people in the Star Wars space putting on their best kayfabe. It's lovely. I'm really mean in it, and I have more fun than I probably should.
Are you a heel?
Absolutely. I don't think I could be anything other than a heel. I don't think I'm physically capable of not being one of the bad guys, which is funny because almost everybody in Epic Confrontations right now is a heel, which is hilarious. Like it is hard to root for anybody because we're all dicks.
You all just want to be bad to each other.
The best thing for a heel to do is to turn face only to eventually turn back heel. That's how you really get the audience hooked.
Honestly, if the market's saturated with heels, someone's got to be a face, and then they'll be the fan favorite.
Exactly. And who knows? This will technically be Scotty's first Epic Confrontations match. So maybe Scotty will put his God complex aside and come be the hero that he thinks he is.
Love it.
I only got to be a heel for like 2 or 3 matches.
And it was some of the best character work you've ever done.
I really enjoyed it. I did it. It is fun. But well, the way I am a heel is very much like making myself the butt of the joke still, which I enjoy to no end. But
yeah,
maybe someday again I'll get to do it.
Legitimate fear just flew through me at the very idea of you being involved in Epic Confrontations. Good God. No, but I lost a train of thought for a moment. Connor,
I tried to be a heel. Like because I was in the dungeon, I was like, I want to be sort of a heel, but like Christian didn't want me to be heel fully, so I was like, all right, I'll just be really sassy about it.
Yeah. Which was again fun. Both of you guys doing heel stuff was a lot of fun because everybody knew you're both just some of the sweetest people the space has to offer. That y'all are just genuinely good people. So seeing Alex go a little stir crazy over losing the belt, and Molly, you hanging out in the dungeon dumpster was hilarious. What I was gonna say is my thing with being a heel that I've had so much fun with is basically every match I've played has something weird and stupid happen in it. Like I went 2 or 3 matches in a row spinning opponents in the second round. There was Eli messed up in the 3rd round of one of my matches. So even though I TKO'd my opponent, Eli was like, we'll do round 3 again because we gave him the wrong categories. And then I won again. So every time there's something weird that happens. So I just keep saying that like Eli is cooking the books to make me lose.
Sure.
Which he's not, but it's fun to say. Stop the count, folks. But that was the head shake of us not getting invited back on here. I'm kidding. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. You get to do that. Yeah.
Cool. Amazing.
Well, is there anything else that we want to talk about for the Bad Batch we let both of you go? Okay, Molly's got something.
I have one more question, and this might be an easy one, but who do you think was the buyer in this situation was trying to pay to get Gungi?
That's actually a great question.
I guess I just assumed it was the Empire.
It could be just a generic someone's personal assistant was, emailing back and forth with these droids.
What if it was Rampart?
Could be Rampart.
It's a scary prospect, isn't it? That like, are they, is it somebody who wants Gungi because he's a Jedi? Crimson Dawn, that's a good one. Palpatine as well.
I love that. I love Lindsay's.
Disney.
What if Hondo is paying people to bring him Jedi children so he can keep them safe?
That's some
that would certainly be something. Yeah. That would certainly
be a very Hondo move.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy because like, do they want it because like again, just like the Empire, they're like, oh, Wookiees are super long lived, they're super strong. Is it a human or Wookiee like slave labor trafficking situation, or is it like I want to buy a Jedi?
Yeah,
like Jedi aren't a thing anymore. You have a little one. I can basically train this one to be my like servant. I feel like if the Empire in any capacity knew there was a Jedi anywhere, they're just sending their people there. I don't think there is any type of like, oh, we'll come and pick it up or you'll bring it to us or anything like that. I think it is, oh, you have a Jedi? We're there in moments with like
makes sense.
Vader in tow. But yeah, no, that I was thinking about that too, is like, what sicko is like, hi, I'd like to buy this child off of you. Thank you.
What if it's Quay Tulsite?
Why can I not? Okay.
On Kessel?
Yeah. Ooh.
Because during our reaction, I forget at what point I brought it up, but it was like when they first got there and we hadn't seen anyone yet. And I was like, oh, I wonder if they're all on Kessel. And Alex looks over at me like, that's dark. I was
all the Wookiees. I don't know. I think that's a good point that the Empire probably wouldn't have like a middleman. And Molly pointed out that they kept calling Gungi the Wookiee, not the Jedi. But they did have his lightsaber. So I feel like, but maybe the droids just didn't know what that was. But that seems unlikely.
Care. Or it was just like, oh, you want a Wookiee? Here's a Wookiee.
Yeah. Also, but orbital, like the station in space, that was so cool. Can never get tired.
It reminded me of the Haxion Brood.
Yep.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah. And Uvo 4 from Bounty Hunter.
I'm also glad we're getting more space stations. Like this is such a stupid thing to get excited about, but like, how do we not have more space stations in Star Wars just as a concept?
Yeah, I need more.
Like
asteroid
everything
bases.
is a ship, like and I like just having something float. Doing its own thing.
Yeah, definitely. There's not as many space stations as you feel like there should be. There are a couple prominent ones, but it'd be nice to have some more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I think that's going to wrap up this half of the show, and we're going to let Jared and Connor go enjoy the rest of their evening. But before we do that, let everyone know in the chat where they can find you, follow you. There are links in the description to several of your properties already, but talk about
Connor,
your show and what people can expect from you.
Connor, I'll let you do your plugs, and then I'll do TNAP stuff.
Okay, cool. Twitter at Depa Banana. You can find me there just talking Star Wars, Philly sports, go Birds. Instagram at ConmanJFO. I don't really use it too much. With Jared. Yeah, there. It's so weird. I co-host Knights of the Nerd Republic with him, where we talk Star Wars. We do interviews, topic episodes. It's really fun getting to chat with him. I also co-host another Star Wars podcast called For the Republic, a love letter to Star Wars animation. For there, we're currently going through the Clone Wars show. We're about to wrap up the season 1 arc with the Ryloth arc soon, but we're also going through all the current shows that have come out this year, such as Andor, Obi-Wan, and Bad Batch, and Book of Boba Fett. Epic Confrontations, I co-host and I write questions. Eli and Jared can attest. Writing Star Wars trivia questions, really fun. You can find.
I bet you have fun.
I have a lot of
writing
fun.
them.
It's phenomenal. You can
Okay,
find
Connor,
all of
I'm gonna put myself on the spot. Do you have a question just off the top of your head? I did not prepare for this at all.
No. I probably do, but I'm not going to ask it because I don't want to ask it now and not be able to use it later.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure I would have known it.
I don't know.
I
That's
I
fair,
think
though.
the
I know
3
writing
years
questions
he
is a
had a
pain.
pretty hefty belt on his shoulder. I'm gonna give Alex the benefit of the friggin' doubt.
I mean, that's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah,
Maybe
but you do it's not just movies, it's everything.
If
So.
Maybe
either of you
off-air.
have a question for him, I want to see just how rusty he is.
Yeah, maybe off air I'll ask you.
Okay, there you go.
You can
I was
find
trying to
all
put
of
myself
our-
on the spot on the stream, but
Now,
Very true.
Connor, if you were a lesser comedian like your other boss, Eli, you absolutely would have asked about a certain clone commander on Felucia. However, we here have more.
well, that is the end of the show.
I was saying it's low hanging fruit, not funny.
But you can find those Oh, yeah. I think I know which one you're talking about, Eli, but I'm not going to ask it. You can find all of those past Epic Confrontation matches as well as ones that come out live in the future over at the Star Wars in a Galaxy podcast YouTube channel. And you can also find me at sweditorIG.com/fiction. Over there, I work with a wonderful group of creative people to create a connected universe of Star Wars fan stories where we keep to the Star Wars canon as is, while also adding our own unique flavor to it. As of this recording, we have 19 stories published with many more on the way. I myself have a few in development, all centered around one of my favorite Jedi, Cal Kestis, of course. One that is coming out in April that I can talk about is called A Knight's Welcome. Very short story. It's going to just take about minutes to read. It's a 6-page script but I'll just give the short synopsis. A fateful encounter with a mysterious being leads Cal Kestis to discover secrets of the Force he once thought impossible.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Cool.
Somehow, Jero T'Pol returned.
And Jared, where can everyone find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. Obviously, our main project, the Nerd Academy podcast, we talk comic book movie news, reviews, as well as Star Wars stuff on Knights of the Nerd Republic, all on the Nerd Academy podcast feed and on our YouTube channel. Tomorrow, we're going to have an episode out talking about the DC Comics, or the DC Universe, I should say, movie slate. We're going to have an episode out here talking about this first chunk of episodes about the Bad Batch. We are back in action. Check out our Patreon. We have a Versus series, which we're also going to be releasing a new episode for this week. Lord Starkiller versus Obi-Wan Kenobi. Excited for that one. epic confrontations like we were talking about as well, which is super fun. I'm also in a Star Wars Edge of the Empire real play show. Think like a Critical Role or Dimension 20, but for Star Wars Edge of the Empire. Run on the All Remaining Systems YouTube channel. It's called Ionized Bastards. I play Fabian Martell, a mysterious swashbuckling dark Jedi. It's been a lot of fun. This is my first tabletop game. Michael McCoy, who runs that channel, has fully gotten me hooked on the TTRPG bug, and I don't think I'm ever going to be able to put this stuff down. We're actually taping an episode of Bastards right after we're done with this, so stay on the lookout for that. First 4 episodes are on the channel now. So yeah, All Remaining Systems for Ionized Bastards, the Nerd Academy podcast, and Star Wars in a Galaxy Epic Confrontations.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for joining us for an hour and chilling and talking Bad Batch with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Anytime. Well, we're going to let you go, and Molly and I are going to take some chat questions, but thank you again, and we'll see you soon.
See you later.
Bye. I'm really curious about those trivia questions now.
Oh, I know. He can send it to me off air, but I was trying to make myself look like a fool.
I think they want to save it for a match.
If I wrote a bunch of questions, I wouldn't want to just throw them out willy-nilly either. I get it.
Yeah.
But today's live stream is sponsored, and we're going to take a quick 1-minute break. We will be right back. BetterHelp is our sponsor once again, same as last week. So we will take a 1-minute break. We will be right back. Oh, if it plays.
1 minute break.
Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. I've struggled with stress and anxiety for years. I started going to therapy back in 2012 and have been going off and on ever since. Talking to a therapist has been a huge help for my mental health as well as my professional and personal life. But there's no denying therapy can be expensive and time-consuming. That's where BetterHelp is different. Their services are more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can visit a therapist from the comfort and privacy of your home. When you sign up, you just fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with a licensed therapist chosen to meet those needs in as little as 48 hours. BetterHelp offers a broad range of expertise with over 20,000 therapists that can give you access to help that may not be available in your area. Schedule secure video and phone sessions and exchange unlimited messages. If you're not happy with your therapist, you can request a new one at no additional charge. Join 3 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/SWE and get on your way to being your best self. That's betterhelp.com/SWE.
You can hear Hilo barking. I don't know what he's barking at, but he's mad. He's mad at something. Hilo wants you all to smash that like button. I think that's what he wants, and that's what I want. Just do it. Just do it. You can smash the dislike button if you're really having a bad time, but we would prefer the like button.
The second, I mean, that kind of worked out. Hilo started barking like right when the ad happened. But we're back. And let's get into some questions.
I'm going to go to the restroom, so I will be BRB.
Okay, I'll start. Going through some questions. Our first one is for Molly from Leftist Hominid. I'll save that one for when she gets back. And I'll go to Lindsay Brown. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for a very generous super chat. It's been 84 years since I could catch a live stream. Really loved the episode, but golly, was it grim. The Wookiees getting shot and the screams as the baddie was dragged into the trees. Thankfully, Wrecker made Wookiee noises. Yeah, we did not bring that up, but I really loved Wrecker just jumping right into Wookiee culture, enjoying the drink that they gave him, telling Echo, like, oh, you don't know what you're missing. If you put any kind of food or drink in front of Wrecker, I feel like he's going to immediately shove it in his face. But watching him do a Wookiee battle cry as he jumped into action, and then doing a Wookiee roar, or attempting one as they were all sitting around the table at the end, was delightful. Which, yeah, I agree. They needed to balance out some of that grim stuff. Even the way they killed off the baddie was a little bit like, oh, it's not graphic, it's not gory or anything, but it was dark. And no one ever likes to see Wookiees getting shot. So that's always sad. But I thought that the episode was great. I loved seeing Gungi again, and I love that it wasn't just for the sake of, look, it's Gungi. They're also going to Kashyyyk and exploring what is happening there with the Trandoshans and everything that we talked about earlier. The fact that the Empire and groups like it will manipulate existing prejudices for their own benefit, even if in the long run they're just going to turn on the Trandoshans next. That's just what the Empire does. So I thought that they handled the episode really, really well, even if it was a little grim at times. Our next one here, I'm still saving leftists for when Molly returns, but our next one is from Donnie Rand. Thank you so much, Donnie. I hope this isn't the last we've seen of Gungi. I'd love to find out if the other Padawans survived. Katuni and Hondo Pirate Jedi Adventure spinoff. Hey, man, we should have brought this up earlier, but I think that's a great idea. I love the stupid thought of Hondo like smuggling Jedi to him, like, I will pay you to bring me young Jedi, and then he just keeps them safe. I don't think that's what's happening, but it's a nice thought.
I'm back.
Welcome back. We're talking about the potential Katuni and Hondo Pirate Jedi Adventure spinoff.
Oh, see, I need to rewatch or refresh myself on the Youngling arc, but I remember the name Katuni because I loved the name.
She was the Thalothian, and she and Hondo kind of bonded when they were escaping General Grievous.
Right. Okay.
So he was basically like, hey, we got onto our ship and the two of us are going to get out of here. And Katuni was like, no, we are not. We're going to go save everyone else. And she convinces him to go back for Ahsoka. I think all the other younglings may have been with them too. I can't recall. But Katuni is the one to convince Hondo to do the right thing. And then as they're parting ways, after they've reunited with the Republic, they have like this look at each other. And Hondo's kind of gives her like a, hey, you affected me. Like you just changed the course of my life.
He's officially a big softie now.
Yeah. And I mean, we know that he names his ship the Katuni, which could just be a nice little Easter egg. But, you know, what if they do go on a pirate Jedi adventure? And then when he meets Ezra, that's why he wants another pirate Jedi companion.
I like that.
But if that's the case, then where's Katuni then?
They're somewhere safe. That's all we can say. They're either dead or somewhere safe, and we're gonna go with the more hopeful one.
Yeah,
because I would like. Wars, dang it!
With Gungi back, I do like having this hope that, you know what, maybe the others too. Fingers crossed. But I had to save a question for you, and I'm gonna do my best here, because it's from Leftist Hominid, who has the same shtick every time. Now,
I like that it's for me, but it's for you to read in the Yoda syntax.
Yeah, well, they just requested I read it in the syntax, not in the voice, but I'm still going to try to do it, just to be in the spirit of it all.
I believe in you.
I always have to do like a little to get into the frog voice of it all, but compete with baby Grogu's cuteness, Kid Omega, and Gungi's friendship. Was that good?
Yes, we loved it. I mean, I love Omega and Gungi's friendship. It's adorable. I hope they meet again someday. I hope they are lifelong buddies. It's not as cute as Grogu. I'm sorry. It's just not. You can't. There's no competition.
Is there anything as cute as Grogu? You don't have to name something specific. I'm just wondering if you think there's something out there that's as cute as Grogu.
Only things that are affected by Grogu with Grogu, and those are cute. So little sleepy rancors.
I think the answer is no.
The answer is no. You're never gonna. It can't be done.
We have been rewatching The Mandalorian to get ready for season 3, and I wish I were keeping a tally of just how many times Molly has squealed watching scenes she has already seen, things she knows exists, and she is still just like, ooh.
I was cleaning the house or like doing laundry or something, and I heard the part of the episode where Mando's telling Grogu about which wire goes where, and I like dropped what I was doing and ran over to watch that scene because it's so cute. I can't. I'll start crying if we talk about it too much. So I've had wine. I will just cry of happiness if I talk about Grogu for too long.
We saw the scene today where he has to take the red wire and the blue wire and he just electrocutes himself. I will say, I think that's the only time you've ever laughed when Grogu has been hurt. But I guess because he does it to himself, it's kind of funny.
He's fine.
He's fine.
He just got a little it's like licking a 9-volt battery. Just got a little.
It's just a little zap.
Little zap.
But let's go on to the next super chat from Trigrit. Trigrit here. Thank you, Trigrit. Do you feel like it's become less of a big deal for a writer to say a particular character has survived Order 66?
Less of a big deal for a writer to say that.
To just...
No.
I think there needs to be a good reason for it. I mean, even with the other younglings, even though I'm saying like, oh, Gungi gives me hope, they did a lot with Gungi and the Wookiees and the return to Kashyyyk and what it meant for the Trandoshans and how the Empire was manipulating them. So as long as there's a good reason, look, Darth Maul is I'm always going to go back to Darth Maul, that if you have a good story reason to bring any character back from the dead, then go ahead and do it and figure it out afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that Gungi's survival...
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't necessarily think Gungi's survival is indicative of them going like, hey, every Jedi we ever met in the Clone Wars, they all survived. Like, I don't think they're going to do that.
So what's the other side of the argument? No one was supposed to have survived.
It's just that most of the Jedi should have died. And it does seem like, oh, this person survived, this person survived. But the way I see it, and I just did the math to remake sure, if Order 66 was 99% effective, there are still 100 Jedi somewhere out in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
We're not close to that number. So I think even though 100 Jedi being alive at this period does seem like a lot, compared to how many there were, it's not many at all.
I mean, Star Wars is all about hope. Like, I think it's fine that there are probably more Jedi that survived than anyone knows for sure. A lot of them probably went into hiding. Most of them, that did survive, maybe they were just like, okay, no more Jedi stuff. Like, I just have to be a normal person now, or else I'll get caught and killed.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are lots of interesting ways to explore it. I really liked what Charles Soule did in his Darth Vader comics with Farron Barr, who was like, basically, I would say going dark side with it and force mind tricking people into following him and becoming cannon fodder for him so that he could fight back against the Empire. So he had noble causes, but like, oh, what he was doing was so messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we're going to continue to see some Jedi pop up. I don't want that number to reach too high. I don't want that number to get to be 100.
It's just so strange to me. Like, I can't help but think about it a little bit in real world terms. If there's a mass killing, people are mad that there are survivors.
Mm.
Like, that kind of bugs me. Like, I feel like Order 66 has been so dumbed down for most people. Not dumbed down, but like most people are so numb to the idea of what Order 66 actually is. And so when Jedi start popping up that they survived,
it's not like that's a good point, because I'm kind of like that too, that sometimes I'm like, oh, another one survived, but you're right, we should be celebrating that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to just be to have the auto response of, oh, there's another one that we have to worry about. Like, we should be happy that they survived and got out of it. And, you know, it might be hard for people to try to fit those stories into places that they haven't, like openings that they haven't created yet in their minds for the timeline and the story. But like, just keep an open mind.
Right. I mean, like, it's happened so many times at this point that we should be used to it. And that, yeah, there were more survivors than we thought, and that's good. And even George Lucas was talking about in his sequel trilogy, he had ideas of Luke seeking out other survivors that just went into hiding. So even George Lucas didn't think, oh, Order 66 was like, no more Jedi ever.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he wrote Yoda saying, Luke, the last of the Jedi you will be, George Lucas was like, never mind.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, yeah, he said that, but he didn't know for sure. He wasn't all powerful. Like, Yoda did not know for sure that he was going to be the last Jedi.
Yeah, as far as he knew.
As far as he knew, and for his, you know, dying words, he wants to inspire Luke to do the right thing. Yeah.
I agree with you. And I think that's a great point, that it's like the reaction should be my reaction to Gungi when I saw that Gungi lived, and I just like freaking cheered my brains out. Like, yeah, that's how it should be for any Jedi that makes it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm supposed to be reading some of these too, huh?
And I was going to let you if you want to.
Oh, you go ahead and read, and I'll find them in chat.
Okay, I already had the next one pulled up. From Queersland, Australia. Thank you so much. Do you want to see Vanguard Axis again? Maybe a more moral lightsaber fodder for a third Jedi game, or another minor thing for Dr. Aphra to run with. I don't know. The Vanguard Axis didn't really grab me in any big way. I thought they were kind of interesting, but we don't know much about them so far, so I don't know why they didn't just make them the HUD cartel or Black Sun, like something that already exists, just because but maybe they have plans for them down the line. So I don't know. It's not necessarily something that I'm like, I can't wait to see more Vanguard Axis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit when we recorded our commentary today. Like, it's cool that there are just these droid run businesses, or like
businesses,
dirty businesses, but
like it's what Hondo would call a legitimate business.
Yeah, but like, it could be something that could lead us towards the droid revolution, where they're like, no, we have ideas, we have things that we want to do. Like, they're capable of running this business, and I thought that was cool of them to show in a show like Bad Batch.
I guess, but they're bad guys, so why can't they run a legitimate business?
They've been programmed that way.
See, I'm looking forward to the Mandalorian droid bar. I can't wait to see that, because I feel like that, and we did see that in season 1 and 2 of The Mandalorian as well, on the cantina. Like, they used to not be allowed to go in there, and now like EV99 owns that place. Good for them. Like, that's the kind of droid enterprise I want to see.
Right.
Not Wookie smuggling.
I gotta bring up the super chat from Philip B. An insanely generous amount
Oh my
of
God.
super chat.
Philip.
So thank you so much, Philip B. Thanks for the great channel. Also, shout out to my girlfriend Peyton, who is surely listening to the stream while finishing up at work. Keep up the great work, you two. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Philip.
Thanks, Philip. Thanks, Peyton, for listening. If you are listening,
Peyton,
hello.
I hope you're having a good time at work.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Philip. I've got the next one pulled up while you scroll up in the chat, and it's from Cassia Pidgip. Thank you, Cassia. Let's hope Sid doesn't hear they fought Trandoshans. I hope she does hear. After all that talk about I still kind of think that's a Wookiee pelt. I don't know. She's Trandoshan, and if they put a big brown fur coat on her chair, like, I don't know what other conclusions they want me to draw.
I don't know. Oh wait, hold on. I'm trying to do something in chat and I forgot if you like type out a heart emoji, it doesn't send the rest of what you typed out.
Well, I'm just thinking that is the conclusion we're meant to draw if they're going to show a big bunch of brown fur on a Trandoshan's chair. The whole room is full of trophies. It's got a Mandalorian helmet, a clone trooper helmet, whatever that weird horn thing is on the desk. Sure, it could be a hunting trophy and a bantha pelt, but I don't know.
That doesn't strike me as something that they would bring up in this show. Like if they do go back and they have that confrontation, what happens then?
Right.
I mean, it could happen. We'll have to wait and see, because I have said several times that, like, I don't know if I trust Sid. So maybe there's a lot more darkness to her past than we know.
Well, I think that's what episode 4 was setting up, is like fun race episode, but also what's the deal with Sid and where is she going to go in this story? Will she support the Bad Batch? Will she betray them? I think they are genuinely trying to throw her character into question this season so that we don't know what to expect. Not that she was never like a great person, but
yeah,
they're really trying to hammer it home now.
Yeah. But now say it like Seinfeld.
What did I say? What's the deal with Sid? What's the deal with Sid? Is she good? Is she bad? I don't know.
That's all I wanted.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anything you want.
Donline Dude, thanks for the next super chat. Loving the stream so far, guys. When it comes to Wookiee food, are you a wrecker or a tech in how you approach it? Oh, I saw this in chat and they meant to say echo instead of tech. So are you a wrecker or an echo?
Right.
As far as you approach it. I mean, I'm down to try just about anything. So I think I'm a wrecker and I'm like, put it in my mouth. Let's go.
Absolutely. I will give any food a shot. If someone just slides me if someone first drinks a bowl of something and then offers it to me and I know it's safe and they're not trying to prank me, like, yeah, I'll try it. What's the weirdest thing you've eaten?
I've answered this a lot on the POV streams or the Q&As, but it's hard to say. I think it's probably those candied crickets that you and Chris ate in Orlando.
Yep.
That's the only bug that I've voluntarily tried to eat. And even though they were candied, didn't care for them.
Didn't we eat a bug of some kind? It might have been crickets again in Hawaii on our honeymoon.
If I did, I blocked it out. I don't know.
I think we went to on a food tour. It was like spicy crickets or something.
Yeah.
I remember eating one of those.
I must have been because I probably was like, oh, I've had these before. I know I won't die, like, or vomit. Like, I'll give it another shot. But I will say I'm down to try anything. But when people ask me the weirdest thing I've eaten, I'm like, I don't know. I think you've eaten weirder in Peru.
Yeah. I ate a guinea pig in Peru, which is a dish they serve down there.
PETA's coming for you.
It was fine. I felt a little bad about it. I had a hamster at the time.
At the time, too. No.
But it was okay. Honestly, the meat wasn't bad. It was just not much of it. But yeah, I would eat Wookiee food. And moving on to Cindy K's, got the next super chat. Thank you, Cindy. I'm loving the look of the show, both the planets and the costuming. What can we expect? The Art of the Bad Batch book at some point.
Ooh, well,
have they ever done that?
They
did do a Rebels book.
Oh, did they? Yeah, they did.
They did.
I was going to say they didn't do that for Clone Wars, so I don't know that they would do it for a spinoff of Clone Wars. But if they did it for Rebels, then there's a possibility. I don't know. I want to say probably not, but I would love to see it.
I would say don't expect it, but maybe when the series is over. I mean, if Rebels got an Art of book, and they definitely seem to be following that trend now of trying to give art of books. Even Star Wars Visions got an Art of book. So maybe when the Bad Batch is over, they could just compile all of the seasons into one. I could see that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm expecting one, but I think it's okay to hope.
It's always okay to hope.
It's always okay to hope.
That's my bumper sticker.
I still have the big Starklighter as my Glup Shido.
Mike Kennedy has the next super chat. I need Cal and Gungi to meet and become best friends. I think they would get along great.
I think so too.
I would love that. Honestly, I mean, the more friends Cal can have, the better. Gungi already had youngling friends. We don't know where they are. Now he's got Omega. The more friends, the better.
Speaking of Jedi survivors and the video game, do you think a game called Star Wars Jedi Survivor will have more than one Jedi survivor in it?
See, I don't know.
Okay, more than two, because Seer counts as well.
It's possible, but from what little we've seen so far of the story and the trailers, it makes me think that they're talking about whoever that is in that tank.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about them, and I kind of, okay, it's more than three.
Mysterious tank person.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sure who that is yet, but I think that's the survivor in question, but also Cal.
Well, I think Cal and Seer, those were the two I was thinking of. And yeah, I think Tank Man is probably a High Republic Jedi. So
I hope his name is Tank Man.
Tank Man. There's an apostrophe in there somewhere. Okay, so I'm asking more, do you think there's another Order 66 survivor in the game?
A new one?
Yeah. Or one we already know of. Will Cal meet Ahsoka or Gungi or Katuni?
I think more than likely, if we get another survivor, it's going to be one that we already know and not a brand new character. But that's just a wild guess on my part. If I were in charge, I would try to put Katuni or someone else that would be recognized instead of a new character, but that also just depends on Lucasfilm and their plan for said character. Like if they have other plans or they're saving that character for something, then obviously we can't use it. So
I was just throwing that one out there.
What do you think?
I don't know. I guess I'm thinking no. I think I like the idea of it being Cal, an active Jedi in the fight against the Empire, Seer, who from the trailer almost seemed judgmental of Cal, like, oh, I hear you're making yourself the Empire's most wanted. And then like an old survivor. The High Republic idea, I think, is super cool, of someone who was just kind of like left in a tank and forgotten about for 200 years. I think that's a fun idea. So
They for sure have pruny fingers at this point.
Yeah, that's why they're so upset.
It's true.
But let's get back to Garth McMurray's next super chat. Oops.
I caught up with the chat. I found him.
Okay. With Kashyyyk and the Bad Batch now, I want Sid to travel there and meet Beatrice Arthur as Akmina and Art Carney as Trader San Dan from the holiday special.
We're getting that Cheers reunion.
And we need Beckett there too.
Yes. Give me all of them.
And Major Bryn Derlin.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that's the whole gang.
Look, I am all in on the
At this
Cheers
point,
Star Wars reunion.
Yeah, I think
business.
Star Wars is just trying to collect Cheers actors at this point.
It's like a hidden code within the writing of Star Wars that they're trying to make happen. I like that.
And Garth has the next two super chats as well. The next one, speaking of Alex turning heel, I started up and ran the Stars fan group on Facebook, and it was wild when they went fully heel for the whole faction.
Oh yeah, forgot
That was fun.
that happened. There's so much that started to happen towards the end of the Schmodown that like it all becomes a blur in my memory. But yeah, the Stars really went off the rails there at the end.
I had big plans, and then I didn't get any more matches, so
Oh, I think a lot
they
of people
all
had
ended.
big
Yeah,
plans. Jill was going to be a manager. Things were going to happen. It's a
it
lot.
was going to be fun, but oh well.
Oh well. We can all look back and say, "Oh, you remember when?"
Mm-hmm.
Insert story here. Another super chat from Garth. Thank you. Now I want the CGI cartoon version of a younger Werner Herzog as the client, revealed as being the one after Gungi and any surviving younglings to study. I would like to see the Wookie.
Nice.
High five.
I like that we had the same idea. I would love to see the client in anything else. He's so weird, but I like him. Like Werner Herzog in Star Wars is so weird, but I like it.
You've been doing the rewatch and just seeing that character again and really listening to the lines and watching Werner Herzog's performance. I'm just like, I love it.
Talks like you.
Who approved this and was like, no one will question this performance?
And some of the lines written are just so bizarre in ways that I like. Would you like a libation to celebrate the closing of our shared narrative? Like,
yeah,
who says that?
It's
so weird.
And he's got that like creepy imperial like medal around his neck. So like we don't know what that guy has done, but it's bad news, whatever it is.
I was surprised he died in season 1 because of the medal and everything. It was like he just looks like no imperial we've seen before, and now he's gone.
And I think that was the point, because I mean the fact that we didn't even get his name, he was just the client.
The client.
That's been such a reoccurring theme in The Mandalorian. Everyone is like kind of a generic version of what we might get in another show.
It all kind of starts that way.
Yeah.
We've got like the Mithril, the Mandalorian, the Child, the Client. I feel like there have been others that eventually we might learn their names. Kuwil, we didn't learn his name until episode 7.
The bartender.
Frog lady, frog man.
What's the bartender? The
Weequay.
The Weequay.
He eventually was named Tonti in the Book of Boba Fett, but yeah, for a while it's just throwing out descriptors and not names. It's very strange.
The child had to get its name from Ahsoka, who had to read his mind to get it out.
Well, to be fair, he can't really talk. He just coos and makes adorable noises.
Do you think he can write? What if he had a little whiteboard?
Maybe Din will get that for him in season 3. But he would write in Arabesh, and that would be very annoying.
What if he writes in a completely new written language of that species that no one knows, and he's like, well, son of a gosh darn it.
Ryan K has the next super chat. Thank you, Ryan. And cute dog.
Aww.
Love the dog. If you could pitch a flashback episode of Bad Batch, what would you want to see? I'm curious how Wrecker hurt his eye, and I have headcanon that Hunter saved Tech from bullies when they were kids. Aw.
Oh. Ooh,
I think they all stuck together when they were younger clones. I like the idea of Wrecker also saving Tech from bullies.
I would want to see kind of like a clips show version of a flashback, which I might be cheating, but like I just want to see the evolution of their relationship as a group. And like if we start to see detachments from Crosshair early on, or like was he always kind of the black sheep of the group, wanting to be more of a loner, wanting to like only follow orders and not do anything cool and fun, but so I don't know. Maybe he wanted to do stuff that's cool and fun. We talked about him cross-stitching. That's cool and fun. But yeah, I would want to see just the evolution of their relationships with each other.
I don't think I could think of a better idea than seeing them kind of like was it Clone Cadets, that episode of the Clone Wars where we see Domino Squad training after seeing most of them die in the Rookies episode. But I think it would be so cool to see them at where I guess they would be like 2 or 3 years old, 5 years old, where they'd actually be at the 10-year-old age, like the young Boba Fett age, and they're training, and then jump them up a little more and a little more, like to see them becoming brothers and a family. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think a child Wrecker looks like?
Oh yeah, I want to see their school pictures.
Yeah. Like to see them growing up, I think would be very interesting.
Oh, I think he looks like I can't remember the kid's name. Who's the chunky kid from Goonies? The one that does
the Truffle Shuffle.
The Truffle Shuffle.
I can't remember.
I think he looks like him.
I think he looks like, I want to see just shrunk down Wrecker. Basically the same, just ripped at 10 years old.
No, he had to start out kind of beefy, and then eventually he grew into himself, and like then he became ripped.
I just hope he could bench like 300 pounds when he was 10 years old.
It's weird for me to think about just how ripped they are under their armor. Now that's in my head, and it's your fault.
Oops.
So I'm going to have to go do some research and some fan fiction, and you can't say anything about it.
I hear Kylo Ren has an 8-pack. It's awesome.
But yeah, I think that we can agree that is probably the best scenario for a flashback, is just getting to see all of them grow up and become besties.
Yeah.
Bad Batch fans are thirsty, says Scott Z in the chat. Well, you know, We're all wanting to know what's under that armor.
Just about every Star Wars fan is thirsty. If you're on Star Wars Twitter, this is nothing. But Crystal Customs has the next super chat. Thank you, Crystal. Hello there. I've been watching since the Star Wars Minute days, and this is my first super chat. Do you think the next time we could see Boyle or Sev in later eps? Oh, that's a fun Sev, especially because in the Republic Commando game, Sev goes missing on Kashyyyk during Order 66-ish, or like a little before it, and you don't know what happened to Sev. So we could have had Sev, the Republic Commando, come stumbling out of the brush. Like, someone tell me what's going on.
Oh man, remind me who Boyle is.
Waxer and Boyle, I think, are the two clones that were in the Obi-Wan. They were in Obi-Wan Kenobi's company, and they met the little Twilight girl Nuna. Nuna, is that right?
Oh yeah, and he put his
he
put
on
his
like
armor.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's one of them, and I can't remember exactly which one. And Sev is part of Delta Squad. So, oh no, I'm blanking on. The one that was in season 1 where they go to Darrow and they see all the Imperial commandos. Scorch.
You're asking me about season 1 Clone Wars?
No, season 1 Bad Batch. I'm talking myself through. Scorch was like the Imperial commando that had yellow paint. He was one of Sev's squad mates.
Okay, I remember that.
Okay. That's it.
I don't know that I have any specific thoughts about those clones though. Like I would need to be refreshed on their storylines.
Well, most of Sev's story was told in Legends, but since Scorch is around, it's possible. Like, I wonder if the Empire split them up. I wouldn't say for sure that Sev is lost on Kashyyyk or something, because that's technically Legends, but I guess I'm not expecting them to do much more with the commandos. Boyle would be fun to bring back. Any named clone, honestly, from the Clone Wars, I think would be fun. But will we see them next time? Do you think next time?
Sorry, I was pouring myself more wine.
Okay. We could see Boyle or 7 later eps. I don't know. I would love to. Any named clone, I would welcome back.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much more left for this season. How many episodes are there still to go?
10.
10 more episodes. Like,
and we get 2 next week, though. 2 next week and 2 to finish it off.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So it's 8 weeks, but 10 episodes.
I'm just like patiently waiting to see what this clone deal, like what the clone revolution might look like, if that's what we're going towards, like if we're going to see more of the named clones that we might recognize. Like, that has to be what we're leading towards, right? Like, Rex is probably going around trying to find anyone he can to save.
That's the speculation that we've been on, is that if Order 66 is failing, if the chips are failing, then what is going to happen to clone kind? So I don't know. I would like to see more and more of the named clones come together. See, I assume we're going to see Wolf at some point, since he is with Rex.
Yeah, Wolf and Gregor, maybe.
Yeah. Gregor was in season 1, so I think he's a good shot of coming back.
Yeah. Let's see. Up next, we've got Alphonse Collado. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hey guys, how many seasons do you think Bad Batch will go for? My guess is 3 to 5, depending on how much time is covered. If Clone Uprising is the end game, then it has to happen early in the Empire's reign. So, yeah. My gut reaction guess for how many seasons there will be for Bad Batch is 3. but they could go 4 if they really wanted to pad it out.
I could see it going 5. I think that'll be less than that. I think it'll be more than 2. I don't see this season. It doesn't have that final season feel.
Mhm.
And I do think that just my favorite episodes have been about the transition to the Empire, what happens to clone troopers, and I think there's so much more story to tell there. So maybe 3. Like at the end of season 1, I think I could have potentially been like, season 2 could be the end. But now that we're over a third of the way through it, I'm like, I think there's probably more.
Yeah. I think 3 seasons is what I originally figured for this show. Maybe we get a short 4th season to really tie a bow on it if they want to go further than 3.
I don't think it's going to go as long as Clone Wars did.
No.
And I don't see it going longer than Star Wars Rebels either. I don't know why, but
I mean, anything longer than 4 or 5 seasons seems like too much for the concept of this show, The Bad Batch.
Yeah, I think so. But also the Clone Wars had 7 seasons and they had like more planned, and that was a little 3-year time period. So
That's true.
I don't think they care that much about the time period. They could tell us that the Bad Batch has all taken place within 4 months, the whole series,
This was
and I'd be
all
like,
a dream.
okay, don't do that. Matthew Byron has the next super chat. Thank you, Matthew. Hey, all. What's your favorite musical composition, Star Wars musical competition, and why? I think Leia's theme is mine, says Matthew.
Ooh, that's tough. I like Ray's theme a lot.
I'm trying to think of, I mean, the ones I like listening to the most are the Asteroid Chase and Duel of the Fates and the Rebel fanfare that like dun 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 dun. I don't remember exactly what that one's called.
I mean, a lot of mine are actually from the sequel. Not a lot of them, but like the second one that I thought of was the Resistance theme, because that one gets stuck in my head too.
Oh, the Resistance March gets stuck in my head all the time. Imperial March is of course amazing. It's like just running through John Williams, all of his songs is impossible to choose one. And even The Mandalorian, like I'm watching a lot of The Mandalorian right now, and that theme is great. It was a weird one when I first heard it, and I was like, what is this music? And I don't know if I like it. And then by episode 2, I was humming along with it loudly. So I think the Asteroid Chase is probably my favorite piece of Star Wars music that I like to listen to. So I'll just stick with that one.
I'm seeing a lot of prequel love in the chat. Duel of the
Across
Fates
the
is
Stars
really,
is also great.
Yeah, Duel of the Fates is really the only prequel song that like comes to my mind, because like when the prequels were coming out, I wasn't as into Star Wars as I am now. So like that music just isn't as ingrained into my head as the rest of the
I have
stuff.
vivid memories of falling asleep to Duel of the Fates. I had my Discman, and I just like laid down. I went to sleep with it, and I put Duel of the Fates on repeat. The worst song to sleep to, but I just wanted to keep listening to it.
Did it give you nightmares about Darth Maul?
No, because I was listening to it before the movie came out first. So I didn't really know. I had seen pictures of Darth Maul, but I didn't quite associate that song with him yet.
That's fair. Ice has the next super chat. This episode was my favorite of the season so far. It rocked. Great action, character development, and amazing themes and connections. Loved it. Perfect.
I love that it's your favorite. I don't think it was my favorite, but it is up there. I liked it more than 4 and 5. I think I liked it more than 1 and 2 as well. So it's in my top 2 of this season.
Yeah, I don't have necessarily a ranking for them so far. This one was definitely a lot of fun, and I loved seeing Gungi again. The lightsaber brought up so many emotions for me and a lot of other people out there. I just, at this point in season 2 for the Bad Batch, I am more connected and concerned with the members of the Bad Batch and Omega and their story development. So, like, this one wasn't so much about them specifically. So for that reason, it wasn't, like, the best for me.
I think part of me is also just, like, happy we got to the Gungi episode, because that's something that I've been just vibrating to see this whole time.
We're just waiting for it, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad that, okay, like, hopefully Gungi comes back, but
next it'll be the Emperor. Like, when are we going to see the Emperor?
Right. Everyone saw that trailer and it's like, okay, let's just start checking off those scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish they hadn't shown so much in the trailers, but for a show like this, I think they had to really build up hype for it. Because a lot of people were probably like, do we really need another season of this? And it's like, yeah, look, Gungi, Palpatine.
Well, it's just in general,
clones.
You know, the animated shows don't get nearly as much attention as the live action shows. And The Mandalorian, I feel like they don't have to market. They need people to know when it's coming out. And I'm sure that what we've seen in the trailers is like bare bones stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that The Mandalorian is just their like flagship Star Wars title that everyone loves. The Baby Yoda craze took over the world, and they could put anything out and people are still going to watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah. And we're all grateful
honestly,
for the...
What if they just put a trailer of like the Baby Yoda puppet like holding a sign that said March 1st and that's it? Like, you would have been over the moon with that.
I'm in.
Say no more, little Grogu.
That's the kind of guerrilla marketing I want to see them go and do. Like, do it. Like you said, they don't need to market this show. I guess they do, just because no one will know when it's on until everyone starts spoiling it on Twitter. So, like, they got to put that out there.
Mr. Shu has the next super chat. Thank you, Mr. Shu. Star Wars Stream After Dark streams when? What did I read? Star Wars Explained After Dark streams when? Also bring back Jyn Erso. I don't know. We're doing a lot of streams already that are not, I mean, technically it's After Dark now, but you know, it's not an After Dark stream.
Yeah. If I do any more gaming streams, they'll have to be labeled as After Dark streams, because I curse a lot.
Control her potty mouth.
Not when I'm playing a video game.
I was proud of myself. I turned 1. I got attacked by a Skaz on Zepho and I went fart.
I was listening for that one.
Good on me.
That and rats. But you were dealing with actual rats. But when I heard it, I was like, is he saying rats instead of like, damn it?
Yeah, I'm a Peanuts character. Oh, rats.
Ice has the next super chat. Loved seeing Gungi. Even though we knew he was coming, it was no less exciting. I gasped when it said Omega heard a Wookie in the subtitles. Oh, yeah. I was editing the reaction this morning, and I didn't realize at first, like, when you can hear the Wookie noises, and then you noticed it first, and your face just went from this to like, it's him. The Return of the King.
I did not think that weird space station was going to be where we found Gungi. So, like, they keep doing a good job of, even though they showed stuff in the trailer, like Gungi, like that weird mech last week, that when that stuff happens, you're still like, wait, what? This is when the mech thing is, and this is where Gungi is. So they've still been providing some twists and turns, even with those expectations.
Yeah. And I hope that those continue to happen.
Lord Hosk has the next super chat. Thanks, Lord Hosk. Are we keeping you from something? A tree? I think this is just every week now, they're going to ask if they're keeping us from something and then try to work the episode in. I like that. I like this shtick, Lord Hosk.
Oh, this works in multiple ways. Instead of telling someone to go touch grass, go touch trees.
Go touch a tree.
Go touch trees. They'll tell you something. They'll tell you their plans.
I like that.
This is going to end up in people. This is going to end up with people going to r/trees on Reddit, and that's like not quite the same.
This is not an After Dark stream, Molly.
Okay, sorry. Getting off topic.
Garth McMurray has the next super chat. Thank you, Garth. Asks, what stickers would Grogu put on his whiteboard?
Oh, well, plenty of stickers of him, duh.
Oh, just of himself, he's that vain?
Yeah. This one, you can't really see it. It's really small. It would be probably a lot of stickers of Din and him holding hands.
I'm trying to think of like travel stickers where he would get a sticker from Navarro, a couple stickers from Tatooine, one from Mos Pelgo. I've got that shirt that says Visit Mos Pelgo. He should have a sticker that says one. I'm trying to think of basically, he's going all over the galaxy, so he should get some travel stickers of all the places he's visited. Yeah. I had chowder. I had hose chowder on Trask.
I went to Trask and all I got was this t-shirt and some hose chowder. Yeah. Or sticker, not a t-shirt.
I don't think Corvus looked too crappy to give out stickers. Maybe something from Tython if they had a gift shop at that old Jedi temple hidden somewhere.
He's definitely got an IG-88 or IG-11 is my hero sticker.
Does he have like a Din is my co-pilot sticker as if he's the real pilot?
Yes. Oh my God. Something about cookies has to be on there.
Oh, yeah. Whatever brand of cookie those macaroons were, he's got a sticker of that.
Mm-hmm. Also, he's just got a bunch of gold star stickers because Ben gives them to him every time he does something right.
That's super cute. Put the red wire where the blue wire was and the blue wire where the red wire was. Here's a gold star.
Here's a sticker. Oh,
I like that. Bless you. Ice has the next super chat as well. Thank you, Ice. Seeing Omega and Gungi bond and fight side by side was incredible and one of the best things. She makes the best friends. Cuts kids, Hera, and now Gungi. Yeah, every time she encounters someone that is her age, they have a great time.
It's the best. Like, her story reminds me of watching kind of the story of Ahsoka, where it's not really her making friends, but she's learning all these really valuable lessons from different members of the council, different Jedi, different people. So like Omega's becoming a very well-rounded individual, and like she's making friends all over the galaxy that has to lead to something. Like, I don't know where, but like it's gonna lead to something.
I like seeing her interactions, especially with people her age. I mean, I like that the Bad Batch, they're all teaching her their own set of skills, so she's becoming well-rounded that way. But yeah, just getting to see her with people her age is always special and nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought it up already, but I loved the scene that you drew of her communing with nature with Gungi.
Go touch some trees. couple people in chat brought up the mud horn. Oh, we know Grogu is like spray painting that everywhere. He's like, this
Clan
is our
of two.
clan of two. This is me and my dad, and we're cool. And here's our signet. Like, he knows it backwards and forwards.
Agreed. Ryan K has another super chat. That dog every time is. I love a good hound dog.
Oh.
Thank you, Ryan. Young Wrecker and Hunter give Zeke and Jimmy Jr. style energy. It took me a second to remember who that was, but yeah, Bob's Burgers. Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Like, come here, get over here. Let me put you in a headlock.
They totally do. Oh my god, because
and
Zeke
Hunter's
is
just trying
like,
to dance.
Yes. Oh my god, if you don't watch Bob's Burgers, I highly recommend it. We love that show. We rewatch a lot of the holiday episodes whenever it's said holiday, and it's just like it's so good and entertaining, but also heartfelt. I don't know, it's the best.
That is the best description of what I hope their relationship growing up would have been like. Just hysterical.
Yes. 1,000 times yes to that.
And like Wrecker just being 100% supportive of whatever Hunter's doing all the time, but then wants to wrestle.
Yeah. I'm a wrestler. Ice has another super chat here. Gungi using the Force to take back his lightsaber had my fist pumping. Even though we saw it in the trailers, it did not diminish seeing it play out. Well, did we see him actually like use the Force to pull? We did. Okay.
It's Celebration. I think it was just Gungi igniting the lightsaber, and that was it. But then in the trailers leading up to the actual release trailers did show him using the Force to grab it. But I totally agree.
I don't even really remember that part being in the trailers because, yeah, I think everybody was fist pumping in that moment because we were like, okay, we got Gungi. Maybe it's a slow burn to when he gets his lightsaber. Nope, it's right away. Like, we're wasting no time.
And just seeing a lightsaber again, I'm surprised at how much it affected me. That, I mean, like, I see lightsabers all the time, but just in the context of the Bad Batch and being like, oh man, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It felt good.
It did feel good.
And Garth McMurray has our last super chat of the night here. Thank you, Garth, for yet another super chat. Speaking of The Mandalorian, shout out to Robert and Vanessa of Late to the Party for being included in the latest promo showing them reacting to Luke. I saw that today, and that was super fun.
I'm so glad this got brought up because I tweeted at them when they tweeted about it because I was like, oh my god, it's so cool. Like, their reaction channel has just kind of like blown up within the past year or so. And I remember they were some of the very first Schmodown people that we hung out with because I remember going to the studio to do something like super early on. Was it the 5-way or something even before that?
It was the 5-way, maybe a collision before that or something. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I think it was the 5-way that we first met them.
Yeah, it was super early on, but they were there recording like behind the scenes stuff and like vlog stuff for the Schmodown. And I was just like getting to see them go this whole way, like from doing that to doing their own channel. Well, I mean, they got to also like be in the Schmodown and play their own matches, which was amazing. But like now they have this reaction channel that's doing so well. And they were in a Star Wars YouTube video because of their reaction to Luke showing up in The Mandalorian. It was so cool. So happy for them.
Yeah, it was great seeing them in that. But that's going to wrap up our stream for the night. Our first stream of February 2023. We've done it.
We did it. We made it through January.
But don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as well for our second stream of February to continue working on our Razor Crest Lego build. But we're going to go make some dinner, maybe watch Black Panther. I don't know. We haven't seen Black Panther 2 yet, and it came out on Disney Plus yet. I'm just throwing it out there, Molly. We can discuss off air, but we got to watch something. So we're gonna
watch something.
Gotta watch something
that isn't Star Wars.
We also have Poker Face. We haven't started that yet.
I do want to start that.
But thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. Thank you to Connor and Jared from Nerd Academy Podcast for joining us. Thank you to everyone who sent in super chats to support the channel. It's been a blast. It's always a blast doing these after shows. We love doing them with everyone. So yeah, everyone have a great night. May the force be with you, and we will see you all tomorrow.